So this deserves repeating. President Trump slamming Jay Powell again, writing in part on Truth Social today, quote, with these costs trending so nicely downward, just what I predicted they would do. There can almost be no inflation, but there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now. Of course, he was talking about Jay Powell. Joining us now is Art Laffer, former Reagan economist and author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Art, wonderful to see you again. So I've got a question. It's a four-part question, and you can only answer one answer of the four different choices you have. What are investors most concerned of right now? The trade war, recession, tax increases, or the Fed? You can only choose one. What are they most interested in worrying about?
Trade war, I think, is the one they're most interested in, David.
Yeah.
I think if he were able to bring in some big deals where tariffs were lowered to zero, I think this would be over. I think it's really important that he gets some of the trade deals done, especially Japan, especially Mexico, especially Canada, these ones then. And then, by the way, it's really important that he goes to China as well and does something there. At some stage, we've got to deal with China and make it a mutually beneficial trade pattern with China. If he does that, this stock market goes up 20,000 points.
Wow.
That's my take.
Well,
if we get really free trade there, it'll be a boom.
But China is really playing hardball. I mean, obviously, President Trump is the one who started throwing the balls, but this one is really tough.
Yes.
And now they're saying that, you know, if other countries make a deal with us, they're going to be cut out of China for good, et cetera. I'm just wondering who in their right mind would give up the United States for trading with China?
No one would, but that's not the way you want to handle China, to be honest, David.
Yeah.
China's going to be here 100 years from now, so are we. It's much better that century be one of peace and mutual business dealings rather than war. It really is much better. Now, we can't allow them to steal property rights. We can't allow them to do other things as well that is incorrect and not good for them to do. But that all can be handled with negotiation. Donald Trump can do that, and once he does that, it is game on. You're going to see the biggest boom of all time. Obviously, we need to get the tax bill passed. We need to do that. We also need to do Powell, the Fed. I mean, Powell's got to go, and Donald Trump is completely correct. My, of course, person for it is Kevin Warsh. I think he would be just terrific.
Yeah,
but what we need to do is follow on a price rule. A price rule will bring down interest rates dramatically. Once you get that inflation rate down, President Trump is correct. Inflation coming down should lead to lower interest rates. That's very, very true. And if we had a price rule, I think we could get this place to the moon. And he needs to do that fairly soon. We don't have a lot of time to waste.
Well, let's talk about taxes, because we have this strange emergence of, for lack of a better term, rhinos among the Republican Party who are saying that tax increases is the best way to deal with everything right now. And even some sensible folks in the Republican Party are beginning to get a little wiggly there. And I want to play a soundbite from Jason Smith, who's the head of the Tax Writing Committee, the House Ways and Means, and get your reaction. Roll tape.
Congressman, do you support a hike, like a millionaire's tax? Do you support raising the corporate tax rate?
What I'll say right now is that we're looking at everything in the tax code, and we're going to provide a tax code that creates growth. So the corporate tax rate, there's been zero discussions about being raised. What has been discussed by news media, not within Congress, but by news media, is that they might increase the top tax rate. What I've said all along is that we're looking at every tax provision, every single tax provision.
I honestly, I think that was the wrong answer. I think the right answer would be, no, we're not going to raise the marginal tax rate because that kills growth. People won't work that little extra mile just in order to pay more money to the government in taxes, right?
Well, you're completely correct. I thought Jason was very cautious and very careful on what he said, but he said it's only discussed in the media. No one on the committee and no one in Congress is talking about raising the highest rates. He really said that. And he said no one is talking about raising the corporate rate either. So those two things, I believe him totally. And he's a pretty good guy, David. He just is very cautious and doesn't want to spill the beans and get ahead of himself. But I think he agrees with you 100%. And by the way, if the Republicans raise the corporate rate, or if they raise the highest rate, kiss the midterm elections goodbye. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I'll campaign against every single one of them. I mean, I'll go against every one of them. I'd much rather have the cheats in the other party rather than my own party. And frankly, raising the rates is the wrong thing to do.
Well, and we've seen it. I mean, you don't have to go any further than read my lips. George H. Bush, I mean, he said that I'm not going to raise taxes. He did. And of course, he didn't last. Finally, just on the issue of trade generally, I mean, we did make deals with China before, Donald Trump did, which were violated. It violated 6 ways to Sunday. So you say if we can make a deal with China, it's possible. We've done it before. Yeah, we've done it before, but they violated those deals. That's really the problem. How do you really tell them with sincerity that we're not going to make another phony deal for you? We're only going for a deal that'll stick.
Trump can do that very easily. He knows how to deal with Xi, and I'm not a negotiator. I don't know how to deal with him. But it's Xi that is the problem on this.
Yeah.
And they need to live by the world rules. And no one wants a war. And Trump has all sorts of other things on his table.
Yes, he
He
does.
needs to get peace, and he needs to get economic growth, and he needs that stock market up 20,000 points. And that has to be done really quickly. And that he can do. I could tell him the exact economic plan that he could do to get that up there. And he can negotiate Ukraine, he can negotiate the Middle East, and he can negotiate with China, and especially vis-a-vis Taiwan. And I think Trump has it in him to do it, and I think he can do it, and he will do it.
Well, I applaud your optimism, and 90% of the time that optimism pays off. It really does. Art Laffer, wonderful to see you, my friend. Thank you
David.
very much. Appreciate it.
Lovely
Coming up,
seeing you, sir.
good to
Thank
see you.